2015 BMW FIBT Women's Skeleton World Championships reaches its conclusion in Winterberg in Germany. In the track that was opened in 1977, the first combined World Championships ever to be held here with bobsleigh and skeleton, a two-week festival of speed. And we get now down to the final run to decide the medals in the Women's Skeleton Worlds. Well, hello everybody, thank you for joining us wherever you're watching. I'm Martin Haven, alongside me 2010 Women's Skeleton Olympic champion Amy Williams. And Amy, a fascinating race in prospect, still lots of really close battles to be had on this Winterberg track.
Yes, I mean, we still have this final run, so the athletes are still taking nothing for granted. They're still going to come back fighting. Some of them are going to be wanting to be moving up places. We've got Jacqueline here, who is the star of one of the, the German sliders. They've got a really strong team here. They are fighting for which medal they're going to be getting.
Well, she's the junior world champion. This is her home track where she started to slide. She belongs to the Bob Club here, and half the town is out cheering her on. Overnight, Elizabeth Vache, the rookie from Canada, was lying in second place, just 0.07 of a second off the lead, but a disappointing second run has seen that gap open up.
Yes, I think the pressure probably just got to her. She knew she was in that grasp of a medal, and I think sometimes you think too much of the medal before you've actually got it. So let's hope that she has a better fourth run. And Lizzie here, oh my word, isn't she a joy to watch? She's got perfect form, the perfect athlete down this track, calm, cool, collected, and she wants this so bad.
Leader after the first heat, the second heat, and the third heat, with the fastest on all three runs so far. She has one hand on the medal. The Olympic champion, she's also the European champion. And for the next hour, Shelley Rudman is still the world champion, but that will end at the end of this race. Well, the family, the friends, all trackside watching here. So many supporters. And Amy Williams, you know, the Olympic Games, the World Championships are huge events, and they bring a lot of colour and a lot of noise.
Yes, everyone likes to come out here. Look at all those crowds, everyone screaming, the atmosphere, the fan clubs.
Well, it's a great atmosphere in which to perform, and Lizzie Arnold has outperformed the field so far. She leads after three heats. You can see the margins there. But from Elizabeth Vache down to Jane Channel, there's just a couple of tenths of a second. We've got a close battle on our hands, and behind, just at the bottom of the top 10, also some very tight groupings. So the fast 20 from the third heat go through into the final run as we decide the medals. Athletes warming up at the top of the track here in Winterberg, Germany. The final moments of preparation before the last run in the World Championships. And Olympic champion Amy Williams, you know what it's like to try and focus and get that last little drop of performance out of yourself.
Yeah, look at them. They're all having fun there. But yeah, they've got to concentrate. They've got to stick to their game plan. Don't do anything crazy or different just because it's a big World Championships. You've got to just stick to what works for you. There's Rose McCrandle there doing her warm-up. She's really fighting to get into that top six. She just lost a few places, but she is a promising star. There's Janine Flock, who had a disappointing day yesterday. I think she had her setup wrong yesterday, and her setup is much better. She was second fastest today, so she will be hoping to still try and, you know, move up a few more spots.
Well, she might need a little bit of help, and this track is possibly going to be able to do that, because a mistake can cost you a lot of time. Maria Mazlu of Romania, 20th after the first three heats, will be first on the ice. They go in reverse order of their current standing, and that means that Lizzie Arnold, the race leader, will go out last, a situation that she is very familiar with this season and over the last few years. 12 months ago, she did it in the Olympic Games, and this time she will go last on ice to try and win her first ever World Championship. Top of the track in Winterberg, Germany. Martin Haven and Olympic champion Amy Williams watching the final runs of the Women's Skeleton Worlds. First up, 23-year-old Maria Mazlu of Romania. Broke into the World Cup 2 seasons ago, and one of this girl's biggest advantages, Amy Williams, is her speed at the start.
Yeah, she has a good, solid start on her. And it's just about learning the rest of the track and experience. Quite high there into corner zero, and just falling off is a very tricky part. The top half of this track, the slider, gliding track. You can't do too much. You've just got to feel those pressures. It's all about getting the fastest line around.
It's a track that lots of young athletes come to learn at because it's not intimidating and dangerous. It's easy to get down, but it's very easy to give time away, correct?
Yes, at 3 to 4, you saw her just clipping onto the wall, not quite getting it, and then you get pushed across. So it's all about getting that perfect angle into a corner, getting a good speed at the top to be able to bring that speed all the way down. So you can see there, she just skidded off of 8, hit into 9, and that's the big problem on here. If you don't get the perfect corner 9, you don't have the speed for this fast labyrinth down at the bottom.
Well, she starts inside the top 10, and she comes down at the bottom of the top 20, and that's the experience as a slider rather than an athlete that she needs to find. 58.76, a little slower than her first run today.
Yeah, but overall, good result for her to be in that top 20. You've all got to start from somewhere. Someone has to be, you know, 20th, and then it's just learning and creeping up over the years and getting more experience of tracks, learning more about yourself.
Yeah, her first World Championships, and she's in the top 20, which is a third of the field got sent home, didn't make it in.
Yeah, that's where she lost her time there, for starters, coming into that funny little tiny kinky corner of 0 that really is unnerving for some athletes, falling off a corner 8 there, and just clipping sideways. The skid is the worst thing you can do for slowing down, digging those knives into the ice, and pretty much like a pair of brakes being put on.
Well, 21st overnight, happy birthday present to herself from Kim Marmans of Belgium. The 19-year-old as she is today drove herself into the top 20 with her third heat. So from here on in, it's just enjoying herself.
Yes, I've been really impressed with her here. She's a good, solid girl. She's got a lot of muscle mass behind her, which is a benefit and weight. She's got a good push that is slowly getting better. You know, she's got to improve on that, maybe get in the gym and get stronger, but she needs the experience, and she put out a really good run to be in this top 20, and, you know, she's a rookie learning on the job, and her lines here are really solid. She's got perfect position on the sled. Rule number 1 when you learn how to slide is just keep your shoulders down, your feet together, your head down. That is drilled into you, and if you can do that, you're on a good starting point. She's doing really well here. Little tiny clip there early into 9, but I've actually been very impressed with watching her and her slides from the last few days.
Well, this is her favourite track. She went to German sports high school with Tina Herman, in fact, down in Bavaria, but she said Winterberg was always her favourite. And do you know what? I think she might just have added to that as well. She pulls in front of Maria Matelo, so she guarantees herself at least a 19th place finish. And the sled in front of her was only 800ths quicker, so she might have done enough there to move up another spot.
Yeah, I think she's going to be really pleased with that. Yeah, just a really good, solid run. This was one of my favourite tracks as well, and I think it really helps when you enjoy sliding on a track. You're kind of excited to get there and like, come on, let's go sliding. And other tracks are different for other athletes. You can see her there at the exit of corner 10. Quite a high line. She could do with being a little bit lower. And you see there, she just falls off a little bit and skids then into the big, the next into the labyrinth.
So Kim Marmans of Belgium is our race leader. 18 sleds to go here. And next up is Anya O'Shea, 26-year-old from Port Jefferson Station, New York. She's an MBA student, and she is having a bit of a tough world champs. Coach Tafilatula holds the sled on the ice for her. Off top 10 starts, she has come down 18th and 19th fastest. So she has not managed to piece together this Winterberg track anything like the way she should have.
Yeah, very good start there, 5:40. She's got a good solid push on her, but somehow she hasn't quite clicked with it this week. She's one of the most experienced sliders. You know, I've slid with her pretty much my whole career, so she is, you know, very experienced, but sometimes tracks don't quite click with you at the right time. It's been a very long season for these American sliders.
Certainly has. 8 weeks away since Christmas. Anya O'Shea now starting to open up a little bit of a margin over Kim Marmans. She was only 800ths in front of the Belgian girl. She's half a second up and more.
Yeah, a little clip there into 9 like most of the athletes, but she's controlled it well.
Speed is not good. The Belgian was 1.5 kilometers an hour quicker, down to 4/10. Should be enough. And we're starting to lose all our timing clocks at the moment. 124 kilometers at the bottom, 2K slower. What does the gap come down to? She only added another 200s on top of Kim Marman's, on her top of her advantage in that third heat. So she will end up as the leader with 17 to go. But that is not an Anya O'Shea style performance.
Yeah, you can't give any time away on this track, and every 10th of a second at the top in your push really, you know, accumulates to the bottom, and you can see her there pushing. One last push to get onto that sled as quick as you can. Her knee hits that first, and everyone's style is very different to how they get onto the sled, and she takes quite a long time, even though that's in slow-mo. You've got to get into your position as soon as possible.
Well, she'll be heading home, be back in New York State on Monday. Anya O'Shea, the race leader, takes it over from Kim Milesmans. So next up, 27-year-old Michaela Whitmer spends her time in Canada and Switzerland. She started sliding in skeleton for Canada. Swiss father means that she is now changed over to sliding for Switzerland. Comes out of basketball. Despite what she's doing for a hobby, she claims to be too scared to ride roller coasters. Well, this always seems to me like exactly what the worst of a roller coaster would be. It's head first and out of control.
Well, it's not for everyone. However, I think once you've got that addiction of a sport, you've just got to keep sliding. You want to get faster and faster. You want to perfect your steers and find speed out of the corners, and it's such a great feeling when you can feel a corner give you speed. You can just see she's just fighting there in the top half of this track. You've got to stay calm. Any little movement or twitching on the sled will cause you to skid.
They go uphill a couple of times before corner 5 and then drop down into this long corkscrew turn, the Kreisel, building up speed over 60 miles an hour.
400th there to play with. Is she going to be able to keep in her lead, or is Annie going to stay on that podium for one more spot?
She's got better speed than Anya O'Shea, and down at the bottom, Anya O'Shea, 124.6, 127 kilometers an hour. Much better speed from Michaela Whitmer. And again, much more muscle mass from her helps her accelerate faster down the track. So she moves into the leader's box, 500ths of a second faster on that run alone than Anya O'Shea. So she adds to her first heat advantage, or her first 3 heat advantage. A little smile from her. Her World Championships completed.
That's out the exit of curve 9 there. You can see they're quite high. It's a spot that a lot of athletes do find quite hard going into that corner, and you could just see her falling off the exit there because she's too high at the end of 10. You can see her then going into the finish corner, and you can see her whole body moving because she's falling off that last labyrinth.
Puts her into a little skid. Such a hard discipline to produce perfection. Michaela Whitmer of Switzerland has the lead. Next up, 24-year-old Brisbane native Jacqueline, a sprinter, a jumper, and then a bobsleigh brakewoman briefly before she found her métier here in skeleton. 3 Aussie men watching from the stands who competed in the World Cup and 2 of them in the World Championships yesterday, cheering her on. So a little bit of home. 500s in front of Michaela Whitmer after our first 3 heats.
Yeah, she's just getting a little bit pulled there out of that corner 0, but a good solid start. And yeah, she's an up-and-coming slider now of Australia, so she's the one to be looking out for, flying that flag for our Aussie friends.
And a lot of them will be watching online down in Australia. Wishing her the very best.
Yeah, such a strong family of friends and still keep in touch with everyone all the way around the world. And, you know, you make such great friendships here, and it's great to be able to come back and see everyone and, you know, chat up and catch on live, and you realise, you know, they're away from home for a very long time. Those friendships are really important for these athletes to stay calm and to stay happy. And when you're happy, your sliding is much better and you're more relaxed.
And because it's a sport where it is just you against the track, everybody has one thing in common, and that allows them to develop this common bond. 58.41 slide puts her into the lead. She was out to 3/10 in front of Michaela Whitmer halfway down the track. She's a happy girl.
Yeah,
finishes her World Championships 16th place.
Fastest one we've seen so far. It does look like the track is a little bit slower actually from this morning. I looked at the air temperature. It's a little bit warmer, and the ice is a little bit warmer, so it's a bit different. There's corner 9. You could just see the pressure dips her in the middle, which creates a lot of height at the end there. So you need to be able to steer and hold the sled up, keep the flattest line possible to be able to steer from the height and out of the corner. That's getting all the speed out of every corner.
Jacqueline of Australia leads with 15 sleds to come. 27-year-old Jacquulyn of the Netherlands at the top of the track. 15th after 3 of 4 heats in this Women's Skeleton World Championships. Martin Haven, Amy Williams watching her as she blasts off from the start. A change of sled during the season has turned her form around, and Amy Williams, the skeleton sled is almost moulded to your body, almost a part of the athlete. It's so vital that it fits you.
Yes, that saddle that is around the body that the athletes hold on to when they push, that's all individually moulded to your body, and you know, that helps you feel snug and comfortable on the sled. And yeah, the different sled makers, not everyone suits each one, and it's very hard to get your hands on to try and test different equipment. You know, our British girls are all on their black rock sleds, and that suits them and it fits for them, and that's great.
Well, she is just recovering from a problem earlier on. 95.8 is good speed. She had slipped down to just 600s in front. Now pulling away a little bit from Jacqueline Narut.
Really good bottom half of this track, and Joskar's becoming a really good slider now and is much more confident. That's her best ever finish for her in a World Championship, so she's got to be pleased and happy and taking those small steps at a time.
Yeah, small nation. She is the only Dutch skeleton slider here in the world. So it is a kind of one-man band, if you like. She has support from Bromley Tech, who she has the sled from.
You can see her there, just on the exit of Kreisel, quite high in the belly, and then she gets pulled up with that pressure on the end there, which is making her slower, but she manages to control it well, get into the corner. Yes, all the small nations stick together really well, and they all really help each other out.
2008 world champion, Olympic bronze medalist in 2010, stood on the podium with Amy Williams in Vancouver, and now having her very last trip down the ice, her last day as a German athlete. A nice smile there from 31-year-old Anya Huber-Selbach.
Yeah, she's got so many emotions there. The crowd cheering and helping for her, knowing this is her last ever run of a race. I know how she feels. She's probably trying to hold back the tears. In fact, she'll probably burst into tears at the end there.
Sure she will.
Very good friend of mine, and you know, she just wants to get down, enjoy this last run. She's a brilliant athlete that many people look up to and watch.
And that's part of the reason why Germany can't lose her from the program, because having a figurehead, having that inspiration is going to be really important in years to come. 5:42 getaway, that's her fastest in the competition. I think right now she's feeling no pain, is she?
Yeah, she wants to go out on a high, and it's not the result she would have wanted. And we all know she's got the talent to do a lot better, but she has struggled a bit more, and you've got to enjoy the sport to get your results and do well. And you know, I've got very fond memories of my whole career being with Anya. I will remain buddies with her for many, many years to come, and she will be here supporting all the other athletes, and hopefully they'll be using her and getting all her knowledge and keeping that knowledge within the German setting of sport.
Looking like a really nice run. This is shaping into her best of the competition. She was on the team podium last week, got that World Championship medal in her final fortnight of sliding. 1:26.9, a little quicker than we've seen so far at the bottom, and a 58 flat is getting on for half a second quicker than any slide she's produced in the World Championship so far. That's the way to come off the sled the last time on ice with your outstanding best run.
Yeah, that was a really, really beautiful run to watch. No mistake, just perfect. Look at her smiling there, that's it. Done and dusted, and she can be a very, very proud lady. She got married this last summer to her fiance, now husband, who is, I believe, the physio still of one of the German ski teams. And it's, you know, the end of an era. Everyone's moving on.
They've all got the T-shirts out. Thank you, Anya.
Yeah.
Listing her victories on the back.
She's had such a great career. And moving on now to the next stage of life, and I guess that's what it's all about. Everyone's moving on, getting married, having children. Got Rose McRandle also getting married this summer, and well, yeah, myself as well. My lovely fiance Craig is watching away back at home on the army camp, and look at Anya there. She is just loving, and she should just love every minute of this now. Big party tonight for her.
Laura Prediger, the 21-year-old Latvian, 14th in the Winter Games in Sochi. In her first ever skeleton race, she didn't load on the sled and it completed the track and she didn't. So that's a very different start for her. Her first World Championships, she's in 13th place after the first 3 heats. She's now got to try and hold off a former world champion, which is not necessarily going to be easy.
No, but they're the kind of things that you can't think about when you're on the sled. All you can think about is you and your sliding, and don't focus on all the other athletes. I think watching all these athletes, you realise how they make it look easy, and yet we heard, you know, some people don't even make it on the sled. Poor Nicotina, yesterday the Russian girl didn't make it on, and that's how hard this sport is, but yet we watch them here sliding, and they make it look easy.
Well, the gap over Anya Huber-Selbach was 1500ths, down to 1200ths of a second, now down to 900ths of a second. Such a great run from the former world champion. I think she's going to take her at the line. No, 600ths. Laura Prediger produces her best of the competition to stay in front of Anya Huber-Selbach. Well, it's 13th place at least guaranteed for Laura Prediger. And she'll be very happy with that. Dennis Ducours, the father of Martins and Thomas, who were gold and bronze in the skeleton for the men yesterday. It's a very happy family.
Yeah, she's a small, petite girl, but that is her best finish that she's ever had in the World Championships. You can see her there loading on that knee, just hitting the sled first and then tucking in. Look how small she is, tucked into the sled. Got to be aerodynamic and keep that good form on the sled.
Laura Prediger takes the lead. High fives from lots of Latvian fans down there. And next up is Maria Oliver of Russia. Now Maria in 12th position after 3 heats. And we're a little at a loss to explain why. She started 3rd, 5th and 6th fastest, and yet the time has just not been there.
Yeah, just been looking like she's just been doing too much, just trying too hard. And this is a track that you need to be so gentle with it and work with the flat, the track. Different styles of tracks. You've got your fast G-force ones, high pressures, tracks like Altenburg, and then you've got the opposite, which is a gliding track. You've got to feel, you've got to be gentle, you've got to be soft with it.
She claimed her first ever World Cup win in Altenburg, and that's a track where you do a lot of steering, and this is about as far away from that as you can get.
Yes, everyone suits a different track, but so far she's had a really good top half. She's got to keep the speed now going through to the bottom into the big Kreisel there, almost a 360-degree turn. 3 oscillations where your sled gets pulled up and rise and fall 3 times. You've got to flatten them out. Little clip there into corner 9. See how she goes into the bottom half with this labyrinth at the bottom.
Best speed we've seen so far in this heat. This looks like comfortably her best run of the competition as well. Set a 58.06 in the first heat today, 57.71, there you go. Quarter of a second faster. So there is still definitely speed in the track if you can relax enough into it. And maybe now, when we get to the final heat, they're just going, okay, whatever, whatever, whatever. And that's what somehow allows you to relax enough.
Yeah, it's really important, and you know, that kind of psychology of it, isn't it? And when you try so hard, and I think sometimes you come out, you've got 1 run left, you just relax, you think, this is it, let's just go for it, let's just chill out, you know, don't fight, don't force. That's her going corner 8 to 9. She just clips on that little tiny camber at the start of 9, which means that she has, it pushes her late. She's got to fight harder and steer more to get out.
The big radiant smile from Maria Oliver. Next up, 24-year-old Safia Griel. 10th in the Winter Games. This year, she's had a standout season, been eased off the podium a couple of times by teammate Tina Herman. Her best results in the World Cup races, 3 4th places. She has definitely got potential to be a race winner, and very soon.
Yes, really, really strong 3 German girls who are fighting. It's a really great program that they've got.
Well, she's in 8th place after first heat, but she's slipped down the order ever since. So let's see if she can turn that around. 5:44, her fastest start of the day.
Yeah, she's a young girl here, got lots to learn. Many years left in her, and she's just got to, like, just get as much information from Anya, from the X-Sliders, from Marion Tees, who everyone knows can drive fast. You know, this is a German track, and they know the track better than anyone.
Well, the gap had come down dangerously low, 500ths of a second over Maria Oliver, now out to 700ths, but speed lower than the Russian as she went into the Kreisel, so we're going to be right back down to a dead heat nearly. She's just dropped behind, and the speed is not there.
No, very good slide here, though. Good lines, but sometimes when you're just trying to fight, you haven't quite got enough track. You need a few more corners to make up and move into this first spot.
She'd have been better off with fewer corners. 58.05 slide for her. Not bad, but the 57.71 of Maria Oliver was a big step forward on the women who were around her. So Safia Griebel slips into 2nd place. Russia's Maria Oliver edging towards a top 10 finish and a little bit of salvation.
So there you are. You can just watch her hands as she moves across. There's that moment in time that actually you're not holding on to the sled. And you've got to be able to feel what happens, have the confidence. And I mean, you do it without thinking, but that's years and years of practice of doing that.
Well, she goes over to give Anya Hubersel back a big hug. I think Anya's hanging around down the bottom to greet everybody as they come off the track. Maria Oliver of Russia leads with 10 sleds to go to decide the medals in this Women's Skeleton World Championships. Well, there's not a spare seat at the top of the track. There's not a spare seat at the bottom of the track. The Kreisel is rammed with humanity. Amy Williams, you know, the Olympic Games, where everybody sees as the pinnacle of the sport, and there's all that noise and excitement, but this World Championships as well, so many fans, and it just brings a whole different feel to the track when you're competing.
Yeah, it's a completely different atmosphere, and it's quite a big thing for the athletes to have to get used to and to try and block out these distractions. They race week in, week out on the World Cup circuit. Hardly anyone watches, maybe the odd, you know, parent that's come out, and it's very different to have to come here with the noise. They're warming up right next to this start that you can see there with all those people. They're having to concentrate and just remind them to block it out and do what they always do and don't get pulled in or sucked into it. On the flip side, with all those people shouting and cheering when you're pushing at the top, that helps you. It's how you cope with it. Some of these girls have never had a TV camera stuck right there on the start line. And I remember thinking at the Olympics, there's a camera right focused on my foot's shaking, I'm nervous. You can see, you know, everyone zooming in on you. And sometimes you can feel very self-conscious, but you've got to learn how to block that out, learn from the experience and try and use all of that energy from all of those people watching to help you get faster and just to enjoy the moment. You've got to enjoy what you're doing, otherwise, you know, what's the point of doing it if you don't enjoy it?
Well, like we always say, everyone is in this for the love because they're certainly not in it for the money. And that's exactly right. You know, if you can turn that noise into your support, as well as everybody else's, obviously, then you can make that intrusion into a real positive. And certainly the crowd here will want to support all these athletes, support their own countries, their own sliders, but support everybody because they appreciate just what goes into this World Championships. Women's Skeleton World Championships, Winterberg in Germany. Last 10 sleds to decide the medals. Martin Haven and Olympic champion Amy Williams watching the action as Canada's 35-year-old rookie Lynette Prediger goes on to the final run of her first ever World Championships. 10th place after the first 3 heats.
Yes, everyone wants to be in that top 10, so we're going to be fighting now into the next kind of group of girls, all trying to move up and down little places.
Well, she was in 10th place after 3 heats. She only started sliding in 2008. A friend of hers at the hospital where she works was sliding. She went to the track one day and decided she'd have a go, and look what that led to.
Yeah, when people say, hey, come and have a go. I know many of my friends want to have a go. I'll chuck them down one day.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's great to be able to get into the sport, and that's how you do it. So, yeah, she's having a good, solid run here, making tiny little mistakes. You can just see her working her feet, trying to steer with her feet, and her head has just crept up quite high there, so she just needs to learn how to relax and lower that head.
Well, really tense before the start yesterday, and I talked to her again this morning. She said having a conversation about it allowed her to relax into the World Championships. She's taken the lead away from Maria Oliver. She guarantees herself a top 10 finish in her first ever World Championships after her rookie season on the World Cup. And for a girl who came so late to the sport, what a year she has had.
Yeah, that's a big, steep learning curve, and that's, you know, brilliant strength of the athletes from Canada. You can see her there coming around the exit of corner 10. See her form on the sled, going down into the labyrinth.
Well, after this, she goes back to a job in one of the Calgary's main hospitals in their emergency department as a doctor. That's a very different world from the one she's been living for the last 4 months. Top 10 for Lynette Prediger. All 3 Canadian girls, all rookies in the top 10, as are all 3 British girls, not rookies, but in the top 10. European bronze medalist Rose mcrandle, 27-year-old from Milton Keynes. She, like her 2 teammates, started on the same day back in Cesana 2010. Mark Wood, with another group of development athletes, is watching with them in Lillehammer, and this is the inspiration.
Yeah, great start from Rose there. They trained so hard in the summer in the programme, living in Bath. She's literally my neighbour around the corner, and she's got good push. She trains really hard, all the girls together, and look at her form, really perfect form. Feet together, head down. She's such a good athlete to be able to watch and learn from, and she's just gaining in confidence, gaining in the results, and I know she's going to want to try and push now into that top 6. She's still in the green, so she's having a great run here.
1600s in front of Lynette Prediger from the first heat. She's 4 tenths up now. Speed is good, but the Canadian girl was a little quicker, so that margin will shrink.
Yeah, she just came a little bit late off of corner, the bridle there, and a bit early into 9. So that's going to bleed a little bit of time here for Rose, but can she keep it together now into the labyrinth?
Of course, she was only 100th behind teammate Laura Dees, and that'll be the target. You always want to beat your own teammates first and foremost. 57.83. That's a good run from Rose mcrandle. Will it be enough to overhaul her teammate Laura Dees?
Yeah, that's the competition, isn't it? It's a very hard sport when you're actually racing as individuals, and yet you travel so closely as a team, and you're with each other 24 hours a day, literally, and it's a very hard thing to be able to do. You can see her there on the push. She gets on a little bit earlier than some of the other athletes. Very strong, powerful start, and loading onto the sled as soon as possible, getting into those positions, moving her hands down into the handles. Very good, 8 to 9, but just fighting with her toe because she's just clipping a little bit earlier. That's going to take a few hundredths off of her time, but she's going to be happy with that result. First ever World Championships for Rose.
First ever World Championships for Laura Dees of Great Britain as well. Rose mcrandle has the lead, and the 2 British girls separated by 100th of a second after 3 tips down the track. The 26-year-old from Wrexham, originally an eventer, had never trained in a gym before she started skeleton. Now, 100th in front, 100th behind. Amy, that's tough to take, but this track does that.
Yeah, great start there by Laura, one of our fastest starters today, 5:24. Yeah, I mean, I've won and lost by 100th of a second. My World Junior Championships years ago was on this track, and a German just got me by 100th of a second, and that's because I clipped into that corner 9. And that's the same issues that these girls are having here. Laura here is going to be fighting to keep going, trying to get the perfect line. Those hundredths of a second can win and lose a race.
She's opening up her lead now on Rose mcrandle. 91.5, not as quick as Rose was. The gap's out to 4 tenths of a second. Down to 3 tenths, 96.0. Rose was 96.8 kilometres an hour.
Yeah, such competition between everyone, and that's the strength of British skeleton at the moment, and it's great to have athletes that you can be fighting and pushing against. You're always wanting to beat each other, and these 2 girls have done so well. Both have stood on a podium this year, both have medalled. So Rose there, a bit disappointed. She wants to stay up, but, you know, they have done so well, and I think if you ask both of these girls at the start of the season,
she just saw the single digit being held up, and there's where she was thumping the sled with delight. She holds on to her position. She will be no worse than 8th, and the battle to get into the top 6 might not yet be over.
No, we've still got sliders to come down. Look at her there, the relaxed position, head down, perfect form. And that's what it's all about. And yeah, the battle between the British girls is strong, it's healthy, it's good to be able to push them forward. And these two have done so well. You know, they all started at the same time with Lizzie. And look at the smiles on the face. Well done to both of our 2 British girls there, Rose and Laura.
Well, you can't be the best in the world if you can't beat your teammates. Next up is Switzerland's Marina Giardoni, 28-year-old on Wednesday. Former junior world champion in bobsleigh. She did once drive a bobsleigh, said it was such a horrific experience at Samoritz, she never wanted to do it again, and skeleton came calling. And bobsleigh's loss has definitely been Swiss skeleton's game.
Very good start. She's one to look out for. Her and Laura Dees there straight away, 5:24, same start time as Laura Dees. So now let's see if she can keep it up. She obviously didn't quite get corner 0 right because she's already straight down into the red. So that's either her setup on the sled, or it just shows you can't make a single mistake in those top few corners.
Well, you'll never make a big gain on anybody, but you can give away a lot of time here because you have to be so close to perfect.
It's all about perfection. It's all about 4 solid runs, having a good push, staying calm and focused, not thinking too much of that end result.
Now, the 2 British girls, Laura Dees and Rose mcrandle, are 1800s apart. It's not beyond the bounds of possibility. She might drop 2 spots here, Marina Giardoni.
Yeah, I mean, the girls will be standing at the bottom of the track, and you're looking at every slider coming down. Can you actually move on up places? If people have not such a good run, actually, you can, you know, move and switch and change, and this is the tightness of the pack of girls here.
So, Laura Dees stays in the lead. Marina Giardoni slips a spot again. Her first World Championships as a skeleton athlete. Her best result.
Yes, I had one trip down a bobsleigh once, and I hated it too. I was getting rattled around in a 2-man bobsleigh, and oh my word, it was hard. So there you are. There's her start. There's her push. She is a brilliant athlete. You can see Mickey Grimberger, her coach, yelling her on, and look at that, head down straight away, getting into that position. But for her, she must have just not had a very good 0 because she already had lost her time from the start into corner 2.
She is getting faster with every season. She'll be a big threat for medals in the next year or 2, as will this lady. Last year's European champion, this year's Crystal Globe winner as the overall World Cup champion for the season, 25-year-old Janine Flock from Austria. Yesterday, perplexingly, 17th in the first heat at the start, and then 11th at the bottom, 9th at the bottom, and yet the first heat today, 2nd place.
Yeah, all I can put this down to, I mean, that wasn't Janine sliding yesterday. She must have had her sled set up wrong. The runners, we're talking about putting rock and how much runner touches the eyes. And to be 2nd in her first heat today, I think she really would have been kicking herself after yesterday. But sometimes you make these mistakes and you try a different setup with your sled, but a World Championship is not time to be playing around. She has been World Cup leader this whole season. So she's going to be wanting to just move on up a little bit more. I really thought she was going to be completely in those top 3 medals. And she's probably going to be just as disappointed as anyone else in the team.
The first Austrian to win a World Cup race, the first to win the season-long Crystal Globe, the first to become European champion in women's skeleton. She's breaking a lot of ground and setting a lot of targets for those coming up in her tracks to follow. 97.3, good speed at the bottom. She's coming close to Laura Dees, very close indeed. Will she be in front by 300ths of a second? She just holds on.
Wow, that goes to show everything that helps, you know, the speed from the top of the track, finding every single corner. How do you get speed out of each corner? It's all about where you do those steers, how hard do you steer, how much work are you doing on the sled. Some of these corners the athletes could be doing up to 3 to 4 steers. So it's how you steer it, how hard you steer it. You can see her there in the big corner 10. Her speed before the finish, 127.7. Head down. We don't know now how the track is holding up. How is it deteriorating? The outside air temperature, the sun coming out, all of these external factors. But the athletes can't focus on that. They can only focus on what they do in their sliding. They can't control the environment or what the track's doing.
Janine Flock leads with 5 sleds to go in the Women's World Championships. Jane Channel of Canada at the top of the track. Watching the action, Martin Haven and Olympic champion Amy Williams. 5 sleds to go. This young lady in her first ever World Championships was tied for 3rd overnight. She has set the fastest start of the competition, and she needs a genius run to try and threaten for the medals now.
Yeah, she's definitely one to watch. 5:22, brilliant start time there.
Ties the start record that she set last December.
Canada are very lucky with their strong young girls coming on through. Great program, and this is living proof of it right here in front of us.
World Cup rookie, and she is in 5th place after the first 3 heats. She's not even the last Canadian to come. 8700 up now on Janine Flock. Good speed at the bottom, just a little slower than the Austrian. The gap between her and 3rd place was 1300ths of a second. How close is she going to get to the medals?
Yeah, she's having a great run here, not really making any mistakes. She's got clean entrances into those key corners, and there you can see in the time coming down in a #1. That's all you want to see at the bottom of the track, is that #1.
57.56, that is her best slide on this track. All the others have been in the 70s. So is that enough? 1400s quicker than her previous best. She knows that there is something really tangible out there that might be within her reach. Well, her first ever Worlds top 5 is certainly nothing to be sniffed at.
Just see her there coming out of 8 into 9. She didn't really clip, but she's having to fight, and she's just early onto that. So you have to then adjust your steers, you know, in really quick time. And that's what it's all about, the experience, as how high she is on the exit of 10. The experience of having different plans, A, B, and C. If I don't go in ideally, if I go in too late and too early, what am I going to do?
Is it enough for a medal? Jane Channel leads with 4 to go. She's got to beat 2 Germans on German ice, which is never an easy ask. 22-year-old Tina Herman, 2010 Junior World Champion from Bischofswiesen in Bavaria. She lies in 4th place. She is 400ths out of a medal position.
Yeah, I mean, she hasn't got the best start, but that is her best one of this competition. If this girl learns to push a little bit quicker, to get in the gym and just really try and get stronger and faster, she is going to be so dangerous on this track.
Mentored by Marion Thies, who was always slow at the start and yet somehow knew a shortcut down the track that found her speed. 92.4, the highest speed we've seen. Here we go. Herman is already working her magic. She's 4,300ths behind. Half the track left to go. 700 meters. Surely she's going to run out of ice. 97.8 is the fastest speed we've seen.
Yeah, beautiful run down the track. Such a joy to watch her slide. She's got perfect form at 128.9 speed.
Stunning speed, and she's not going to make it. Jane Channel climbs 1 spot further up by 400ths of a second. Jens Muller can't quite believe it. 3 sleds to go. He's still got another card to play, the Junior World Champion, but Tina Herman couldn't hold on to that spot.
Yeah, she's going to be disappointed with that. But on the flip side, she has to be happy. I mean, that is a great result from a young, up-and-coming athlete. And I think sometimes it's very hard because you move your goalposts. You say, I'll be happy with the top 6. Then you go down. You realise you're in with a medal. And then all of a sudden, if you're not getting that original form, you could just see there, I think 9, she had a little bit too much height on the exit. And that would have just taken away that little bit of those 400s. Is probably just there in corner 9.
Exactly so. 3 to go in Winterberg. The medals are all up for grabs. What can this young lady do? Jacqueline Lurling, the 2015 Junior World Champion, the 20-year-old from Winterberg, got a wild card entry into the Senior Worlds. And she lies 3rd after 3 of the 4 heats. Oh my goodness.
Yep, she's got to concentrate now. Just keep consistent. Don't do anything different. No panic steers or anything. Stay calm and confident. All those people cheering her on. She wants to get this medal. And let's see if she can do it.
When she won the Junior Worlds, the loudest noise at the top of the track was probably the wind whistling through the start building. Here, it's a cacophony. The whole town has turned out for her. What is that doing to her nerves and her focus?
Well, she's got to drive this track so well because she hasn't got that massive start on her. She has got to have the most perfect lines now, no mistakes. Let's see how she goes into corner 9 compared with the others. I'm sure here going into the cries, you're going to have the perfect exit here to set up the next few corners.
Jacqueline, the current leader, has been in the top 3 starters. Jacqueline Lurling has not been in the top 20 starters, but she finds the speed down the track. This is her home ice. This is where she started the sport. The gap's down from half a second to 800ths. The medals are up for grabs. She's got the speed in the bottom. She is in the medals. She will take at least a bronze medal in her first World Championships. The junior world champion will take a senior world championship medal. Where did she find that speed at the bottom? That's what knowledge of the track
That
does.
is what it is. That is hundreds and hundreds of runs down this track, knowing where the speed is. The crowd have gone wild down here. I can hear them in our little commentary box, banging away. And you know what? That is where the home track advantage comes. Look at her there. So good. I mean, she is the future of the German skeletons. Got to look out for her for many years to come.
20 years old, 5'10", 11.5 stone, junior world champion, and now at least a bronze medal will be hung around her neck. There's her sister, her mum, coaches are down there. It's a proper loving, and rightly so. Jacqueline Lurling. Wow, I know who's going to be on the front pages of the German sports media tomorrow.
Yeah, brilliant to see all of those people, and it's great to have that great competition with these last few girls. 2 more left to slide.
Well, Lurling was a 10th behind Elizabeth Varche, a fellow World Cup rookie. Varche, her first season on the World Cup, her first ever World Championships. Self-funded, 5:33 getaway and a little skid up the walls.
Yeah, it wasn't the best start from her, and she was just fighting there out of corner 0, so that is going to straight away bleed time. She's now got to have the ride of her life. That's her 8th best time there on that 3rd run.
We've got 2 20-year-olds battling for the silver medal in the World Championships. Jacqueline Lurling's not even started a World Cup race. Elizabeth Varche has had 1 World Cup season, so this is the future. No question, Canada will win a medal with one of their rookies, but has she got enough in the tank? 2600's up, the speed is lower than Jacqueline Lurling. She needs 129, high 129 at the bottom, and it's going to be silver for Lurling, surely. Varche is 12 meters behind at the line. Well, that stunning run from Jacqueline Lurling moves her up another spot. Elizabeth Varche lies in second. She will get at least a bronze medal.
Yeah, I mean, she's going to be upset with that, isn't she? But, you know, I was trying to watch there. That is a bronze medal. Always disappointing when you slip down one, but she's now got to remember she is up there with a World Championships medal, bronze. Unbelievable result. I was trying to look to see what happened and where to lose that little bit of time, and I think that is it right there. Corner 0. She was fighting there, having to play around, and that can be enough. Something must have gone wrong right there. She came from the belly of the track there in that corner, and look at her, just flips over, rips the bib up, but that's all going to be forgotten now. She's about to stand on that podium.
Look at her, she is so full of the joys of life. 2 20-year-olds lead this race. No, you don't have to do selection next year. You get a place by rights, as will Lizzie Arnold of Great Britain. She's the Olympic champion. She's the European champion. 2 years ago, she was the World Cup champion as well. So in 400 days, she could now add a World Championship title. The last 60 seconds of Shelley Rudman's World Championship reign of 2 years are coming to an end as Lizzie Arnold heads for gold.
Yes, Lizzie will have all of those titles. She wants them badly. She wants to hold all of them in her hands, and she is the perfect skeleton slider here. She does everything to textbook. She's really confident, very sure of herself, and that confidence comes straight out into the sled. And look, these are just perfect lines. If I was a newbie skeleton athlete, I would be studying this girl right now. Just using her little feet, they're going into Kreisel.
92.6 is good speed. Jacqueline Lurling was faster, but Lizzie Arnold's lead is still 0.8 of a second.
Yeah, that little tiny clip into 9, I don't think is going to affect anything here because she's just pulling away. 7,600 ahead of everyone.
Look at her speed, 129.1 kilometers an hour. It's a golden track record for Lizzie Arnold. She saves the best till last. She set the new track record on the first run, and she breaks it by 200s on the last run. That's the way to win your first World Championships.
Yeah, she's done it. She is over the moon. Brilliant run by Lizzie there. Well done, Lizzie, and all the team behind her with the coaches and the support staff. You know, she has just been on this huge learning curve, and to have all of those titles, look, that's what she came out here to do, and that is what she has done. All her support team there, cheering her around makes a huge difference.
Well, she took the bronze medal in the World Championships in St. Moritz. She took the Olympic medal last year, the gold, and this year she takes gold, her first World Championship title. She's the world champion, the European champion, the Olympic champion. That's why the gold helmet is so appropriate. And squeals of delight with Laura Dees. These two girls had their first ever race under the guidance of Mark Wood, the development coach for the Great Britain team, in the same race in Cesana 2010 in Italy, and they're all in the top 10 in the World Championships with Lizzie on top of the world.
Yeah, perfect start there. Just beautiful to watch. She's calm, she's collected. Look at her form, shoulders down, head. She doesn't move on that sled, and that is Lizzie's strength. She is stuck to that sled, and that is aerodynamics, form, and speed. And look at her, very, very deserving win by her.
So Lizzie Arnold is the Olympic and the world champion. Jacqueline Lurling, the rookie, junior world champion and silver medalist. And Elizabeth Varche, another 20-year-old rookie, takes a bronze in her first ever Worlds. Teammate Jane Channel just behind, Tina Herman in 5th, and Janine Flock in 6th position to round out this season. Time to take a breath, I think, for everybody. What a thrilling final few sleds. Lizzie had such a big lead that it was going to need something very drastic to take it away from her. But right behind, Jacqueline Lurling, Elizabeth Varche, Jane Channel, Tina Herman, so many young sliders there right at the top of the field.
It's great to see, isn't it? There is such a strong group of athletes. Those 3 Canadians, the 3 Germans, and the 3 Brits. I think for many years to come, they are going to be fighting against each other continuously. I think the British girls, all 3 of them in the top 10, is the best result we have ever had in a World Championships. We've got them, you know, coming up and through, and the way that it's going and from strength to strength with the program, and Lizzie there just over the moon. She wanted those titles and she has got it.
Well, Canada, Great Britain and Germany dominating the top 10. Only 2 other nations had athletes in. Janine Flock of Austria in 6th and Marina Gardoni of Switzerland in 8th. So yeah, the big 3 nations as they are now in women's skeleton. And the Great Britain success stories continue. So the last woman, incidentally, to have world and Olympic titles at the same time was Maya Pedersen of Switzerland. She won the Worlds in 2005, then went on to take the Olympic title. Lizzie's done it the other way round, won the Olympic title first and has gone on to take the world. So she will hold that until Eagles in Austria next February and March, when our next World Championships convene. And there is the Arnie Army, Dad Clive in the hat and the rest of the family, Mum Judith, her sisters are there, whole family, friends. I think Sevenoaks must be pretty much closed for the weekend. There's so many British fans down there, and for all the sliders as well. So many family members coming here to make this such a festival and enjoyable sport. Winterberg in Germany, a picture postcard view on a sunny Saturday afternoon as Lizzie Arnold claims the World Championship medal to go with her Olympic title. Junior World Champion Jacqueline Lling takes the silver medal, and Elizabeth Varchi of Canada, the World Cup rookie, takes the bronze. Her teammate Jane Channel right behind her. Janine Flock, the World Cup champion, finishing in 6th position. And the top 20 rounded out by Kim Mylens of Belgium, happy birthday, 19th place, 19th birthday. And Maria Matelo of Romania, 20th spot. She made the cut, as did Milman's in the final day's action. Down on the finish dock, I think there's going to be an awful lot of excitement. 2 new podium finishers at the senior level, and our world champion Lizzie Arnold between them.
Yeah, that's a special moment there when you're standing on that podium. All the fans waving, you can see your family, yourself, and all the fans just, you know, cheering on these girls. A great competition over 2 days.
Well, we might well have predicted that Lizzie Arnold would be on the podium. We might well have hoped as Brits that she might be on the top of it. Not sure we would have predicted that entire podium. Jacqueline Lling always had a chance on home ice. Elizabeth Varchi too. And Lizzie Arnold just put down 4 searing runs, 2 new track records. It really was an Olympian's performance.
Yes, and that's what it's all about. It's about getting good starts, strong, powerful on the top, and getting 4 consistent runs down. They all get added up, none of them get dropped, so you want to be a consistent slider, and that is what skeleton is all about on these 2 days in these major championships.
And as the most experienced woman on the podium, maybe that as well was all part of Lizzie's advantage over her rivals. Well, we'll find out what they thought of it over the cacophony of noise down the bottom. Let's hear from them. They are with John Morgan now.
Okay, top 3 down here. Elizabeth Varchi, first ever World Championship appearance. You win a bronze medal, and you do it on your back.
Yeah, that was not quite how I wanted it, but stoked with the result.
Congratulations, what a great season you've had. And Jacqueline, oh, boy, did you make the crowd excited here in Winterberg.
Oh, I am so happy. I don't thought about it before. Yeah. It's crazy.
You've made it a crazy day. Congratulations. And Liz, wow, what 400 days you've had. You've had a European Championship, an Olympic gold medal, now a World Championship. You've had quite a 400-day period.
I can't quite take it all in. It's been absolutely amazing. It's been a lot of hard work. It has been a struggle, and I couldn't have done it without all the team and my support. I'm not here by myself. But I'm so pleased I can say I'm Olympic champion, as well as Olympic champion and European champion. It's all I've ever wanted.
Well, you certainly delivered the goods. Congratulations, ladies.
Congratulations to all of our sliders who made it such a fantastic World Championships. Goodbye, at least for the moment, to Anya Huber-Selbach, and congratulations to our world and Olympic champion, Lizzie Arnold. My thanks to John Morgan, especially to Olympic champion Amy Williams for joining us in the booth, and thanks to you for joining us. A fantastic Women's Skeleton World Championships comes to its conclusion here in Winterberg in Germany. Till the next time, from me, Martin Haven, auf Wiedersehen, goodbye.